The Liberal BJs bounced back and defeated the Larks by a final score of 10-6 last night, and now the teams play a series-deciding Game 3 here at Larks Park. As we say, welcome into the pregame show, everybody. My name is Hank Corsair, joined alongside by Eli Blankenship. And looking at last night's game, the Larks would slowly add a few runs at the start, and then once that fourth inning began, Liberal really took things over. 3 runs in the fourth, 1 run in the fifth, and then that 6th run, 6th inning sealed the deal.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of times you see this Larks team do exactly what the BJs did, where they kind of wait until the later parts of the game to really break things open. And it seemed like the script was kind of flipped last night, and so it'll be interesting to see how the Larks will try to respond here this evening after taking Game 1 and then dropping Game 2.
And then in this series, we've already seen a Larks win and a BJs win, so we have an idea of what both teams need to do to win this game. For the Larks, they need their pitching to get off to a strong start and limit the runs, but for Liberal, they need to have a high-scoring game because they have scored 10-plus runs 13 times, and they have not lost a game when doing so.
Right, and I think that's where we've seen this Larks team be the most successful is whenever they can limit those runs early in the contest. Now, for other teams, the key to cracking this Larks team is coming down to getting out with a hot start, trying to tack on some runs early, and really take command and control of the contest in the early parts of the game and try to limit the confidence of this Larks team, because once they get confident, it just seems like they can't stop scoring runs.
And one thing that's going to be interesting to watch tonight is the pitching matchup. In those first 2 games, the Larks used a total of 9 pitchers. Last night, Liberal used 4, and both teams are going to be starting their ace pitchers tonight. The Larks will have Simon Lunsford. The Liberal BJs will have Jay Brooks Kappelman. That usually serves for a very exciting matchup on the mound.
Yeah, Lunsford sitting around a 2.3 ERA right at the moment, and he has had an excellent season for the Larks. An ace is the only way to describe him. He is the ace for this Larks team. And to your point, having the BJ's ace in, this is going to be a defensive game from the get-go. I think that we're really not going to see either team take a big advantage until the later parts of this game when you start to see some of those relievers come in.
This one decides the series, and it is a must-win game for both teams, and we will have it up next here on the Larks Network.
Larks! Hey, Larks!
It's time for one of the biggest RMBL games one of the biggest games in the RMBL race up to this point, as the Larks look to get another 3-game series win against the Liberal BJs. Both teams are starting their ace pitchers tonight. For the Larks, that is number 25, Simon Lunsford, making his 6th start with a 4-1 record and 2.57 ERA. He delivers the first pitch of the inning, and it finds the strike zone, and it's 0-1. The first pitch of tonight's game comes at 7:07 p.m. Not a cloud in the sky here in Hayes, America, and it's close to about 95, feels like 97. On the 0-1, Lunsford goes high against Ben Finnegan, and the count moves to 1-1. Here's the rest of Liberal's order after Finnegan. It's number 29, Trenton Ueda, moving up to second. Batting third is number 7, Cole Manuel. Number 44, Noah Giovanelli, bats fourth. Fifth in the order is Cal Anthony. Number 38, Cade Adams, is the DH, batting sixth. Count now moves to 1-2. Drew Gartman is seventh. Jet Huffman is eighth. And batting ninth is number 23, Josiah Rojas. Lunsford comes into tonight's game with 39 strikeouts, and he gets number 40 on the first batter. A swing and a miss on the 1-2 count against the leadoff batter, Ben Finnegan. Just the start the Larks needed. That brings up number 29, Trenton Ueda. And we'll take a look at the Larks' defensive alignment. In the outfield is Braden Hebner in left, Sean Keenan in center field, and Cooper Holtorf in right field. Dylan LaRue moves from first to catcher tonight, and Tanner Norman's back over at first. Rainer Bean is at second. Next to him is Tabor Stokes at the shortstop position, and Hutch Russell's back at third. 1 ball and no strikes to Trenton Ueda. He was 1 for 4 last night with an RBI single and a run. And Lunsford's next pitch is a swing and a miss on the slider. It is now 1-1. Ueda is a freshman from Point Loma Nazarene. He's gotten a hit in 15 of his 17 games with the BJs. And again, it's another batter for the BJs that falls behind 1-2. LaRue puts his glove low and outside, and the curveball drops into the inside corner, and that's 2 Ks in a row for Simon Lunsford.
Well, certainly off to a good start. Simon Lunsford really seems to have a good sense of where the zone is tonight, and this is exactly the start that the Larks wanted, especially for their ace pitcher on the hill this evening.
Now Liberal brings up number 7, Cole Manuel, the catcher tonight. He bats third in the order once again. He was the DH in last night's game, and he had a big one, 3 for 5 with 2 singles and a solo home run in the 5th. No balls and 1 strike. And by the end of the night, he had 3 runs and 2 RBIs. Here's the next pitch to the Arkansas State Red Wolf, and he falls behind 0-2 against Lunsford. Manuel played in 16 games with Arkansas State this season. Finished with a .214 average with 6 hits and 8 runs. He is a junior that had 2 years of JUCO experience at Jones College, and he swings and misses on the 0-2. That's a forwards K, a backwards K, and then another forwards K for Simon Lunsford to go 3 up, 3 down against the BJs. And now it's the Larks' turn to go to work with their bats. Simon Lunsford starts the game with 3 strikeouts in the top of the first inning. He is the Larks ace. Now we'll see what the Liberals ace can do. They are starting number 4, Jay Brooks Kappelman, the sophomore from Seward County Community College, who is also a Pitt State commit. He makes his team high 7th start tonight and also leads the team with 32 strikeouts. He will first face off against the second baseman, Rainer Bean. Bean moves up 1 spot from last night's game. He was 2nd in the order last night. Went 0 for 3, but did record 2 walks. Kappelman comes set, deals the first pitch of the inning, and this one's fouled back over the press box. No balls and 1 strikes to Rainer Bean. He will be followed by Tabor Stokes and then Hutch Russell. Dylan LaRue will bat 4th. Sean Keenan is 5th. Braden Hebner will bat 6th. The DH, Brand Wilson, is 7th in the order. Tanner Norman is 8th, and Cooper Holtorf rounds out the order at 9. Here's the 0-1, and that misses outside for the first ball.
We saw Rainer Bean appear earlier in the series where he came in as a relief pitcher in that first game. So, I always wonder how it feels to try and pivot from pitching to going to a position player.
And he hits a hard ground ball over to Huffman, and he tosses it over to Giovanelli for out number 1. After the 4-3 play that gets out number 1, the Larks now bring up number 6, Tabor Stokes, a recent commit to Incarnate Word after his first season at Ball State. Despite the loss last night, he had a huge performance. Got his first home run of the season in the 7th inning, and overall he had 2 RBIs.
Well, Rainer Bean just told Tabor Stokes something before he went up to the dish there. I wonder if Bean saw something there in that at-bat that really was striking to him that will help Tabor Stokes here on his approach.
Stokes falls behind with a strike on the first pitch from Kappelman. And here's Liberals' defensive alignment. In the outfield from left to right is Josiah Rojas, Ben Finnegan, and Cal Anthony. The catcher is number 7, Cole Manuel. And here's the next pitch. That one is left upstairs. And it is 1-1 for the second batter in a row. Number 44, Noah Giovanelli is the first baseman. Jet Huffman is next to him at second. The shortstop is number 2, Drew Gartman. And over at third base is number 29, Trenton Uyeda. Here's the 1-1. And that catches the low outside corner. And the breaking ball makes the count 1-2. And the next pitch goes to the plate. That one's left up high. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Stokes. Playing in his 17th game of the season. Enters with a .377 average and also a team-high OPS of 1.076. And on the 2-2, Kappelman goes inside, and that will lead to a full count.
He's certainly battling and drawing this count out a little bit more than what Bean did. I just wonder if Bean was like, the approach here against a guy like this is to really make the pitcher think, make him work for it. That's going to get him out of the game sooner and really benefit the team.
Stokes hits a fly ball, and it is called for by Huffman, and he gets the second out as well. That will bring up number 15, Hutch Russell. Batting 3rd in the order once again is the KU commit for his 7th game. And he had another big one last night. He went 3 for 4 with a single and also 2 doubles. He also accounted for a run and 2 RBIs against the BJs. Kappelman comes set. And he delivers that one just a little bit outside. It is 1-0. Kappelman, a sophomore at Seward County Community College, and is also from Liberal. A former WAC Player of the Year in both 2023 and 2024. Russell fouls that one off for the first strike. Uyeda goes over to throw that one to the Larks dugout on the third base side. Russell steps back into the left-handed box. And on the 1-1, Kappelman goes low, and it ties it up at 2-1. So Kappelman has some connections with Liberal, being a native of Liberal. He played at Liberal High School. He's got 2 years of experience at Seward County Community College. And an interesting story I found about him is that his dad is sitting right next to us. He is the play-by-play broadcaster for Liberal, Brock Kappelman, who also covers Seward County and the Liberal Redskins.
I wondered if there might be some relation there. I kind of figured that might be the case.
On the 3-1, he hits it over to Huffman, and he throws it to first once again, and there's out number 3. So Liberal goes 3 up, 3 down with 3 strikeouts from Simon Lunsford, and the Larks go 3 up, 3 down as well, with all 3 of their outs going to the second baseman, Jet Huffman. We'll be back in just a moment for the top half of the second inning. Welcome back to Larks Park for the top of the second inning. We'll see if Lunsford can recreate what he did in the first inning, where he struck out the first 3 batters. He faces the middle part of the order, and it starts with number 44, Noah Giovanelli, the first baseman. Thought about taking a swing at that one, and it's in the strike zone. It's 0-1. Pretty good showing tonight from the Larks fans, despite it being in the mid to upper 90s. And a hard ground ball is going to roll into the outfield, right between Rainer Bean and second base. That is the first hit of the game for either team.
And I think Lunsford thought that Bean was actually in that gap where he chopped that ball through to, but evidently Bean was playing a little bit further over, kind of shaded over to that first base side, and allowed that ball to slip through the infield and get down for a base hit.
Now up is one of 3 Nebraska commits. Cal Anthony bats 5th. And he's ahead 1-0 against Lunsford. Anthony scored 2 of Liberal's 10 runs last night. Also drove home a run on a play where he reached on an error. Swings and misses, now it's 1-1.
Well, whenever I'm on color commentary, I always like to go through hypotheticals. And I think that for this BJ's team, you wonder if it's worth being aggressive on the base paths early in this contest to try and put a little bit of pressure on this Larks squad in the early innings.
Another swing and a miss, and Anthony falls behind 1-2. We talked about it on the pregame show that if Liberal wants to win, they have to score a lot of runs, because last night was their 13th time getting 10-plus runs, and they have 15 wins, and they've won every time they've done that.
Yeah, and I think that that's a strength of this BJ's team, is when they do score a lot of runs, they have a lot of success. And I think something that's important to note with this Larks team is no lead is safe against this Larks squad. We've seen them come back from really big deficits this season.
The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lunsford delivers, and he goes low, and it's a full count to Cal Anthony. Anthony has played in right field for every game of this 3-game series. And on the payoff pitch, that one will miss up high. Anthony thought about taking a swing at it, but held back just enough. And now the BJs have runners at first and second.
That was a very enticing pitch there thrown by Lunsford. I think he was hoping that ball would drop just a little bit more than it did. If it would have, that would have been a really tough pitch to pass up as close as it was to the zone.
Batting sixth in the order tonight is number 38, Cade Adams, who is also the DH. He shows bunt, and it pops up, and it lands in the net. No balls and one strike to the DH. Adams is a freshman who redshirted at Southern Miss. I mentioned last night that was one of the 16 regional hosts for this year's NCAA baseball tournament. And he sends this one back up to Simon Lunsford, but the home plate umpire is going to call it a foul ball. It is now 0-2.
Well, admittingly, I looked down for just half a second at one of my rosters that I was referring to, and I totally missed it. Where did that ball hit him on that foul ball?
It landed right by his foot, kind of next to home plate, so I think that's why they called it a foul ball, but it was kind of one of those weird angles for it to bounce.
Sometimes if you hit a ball funky, it has a lot of spin on it too, especially if you don't make great contact on a foul ball like that.
Lunsford looks at second base. Here comes the 0-2, and it's a swing and a miss. He gets his fourth strikeout of the game in just the second inning and records out number one.
That was an important strikeout there for Lunsford. Being able to secure that out there really puts him in a good position to try to take more command of this inning, especially with runners on first and second. They've got a chance to end the inning here with a double play ball.
Batting seventh is number 2, Drew Gartman, another Division I player for this Liberal team. He is also from Arkansas State. He will put this one in play behind the third base coach for Liberal. It is 0-1.
Well, he was really early on that pitch. You could tell by just how far that ball went down the third base line, and I'm not exactly sure he made the best of contact on that ball either. I think that was just a little bit behind his barrel, which caused him to make a really weird sound when it came off the bat.
Lunsford takes a deep breath before dealing the next pitch, and Gartman went around. No balls and 2 strikes to the shortstop.
It was a very deceptive pitch there. The a slider correction over that outer half of the plate, and just kind of started over the inner half of the plate, and then just finished over in that left-handed batter's box. It's a really tough pitch.
Slow ground ball goes up to Rainer Bean, and he bobbles it, trying to hit it over to Tanner Norman with his glove. And the error is going to load the bases up for Liberal with 1 out. So Noah Giovanelli's at third, Cal Anthony is at second, and Drew Gartman is at first. And here is number 3, Jet Huffman, the freshman from Turpin, Oklahoma, who was a courtesy runner last night for the catcher, Cade Adams. Lunsford will hit the batter, and that's going to score the first run of the game for Liberal. It is Noah Giovanelli from third. The bases will remain loaded, and Liberal goes to their 9-hole batter, Josiah Rojas. The Larks will have a meeting between Tanner Norman Hutch Russell and Simon Lunsford.
Well, this is a situation here where you really have to rely on your ace to get you out of this jam here. If you're Simon Lunsford, you can't really think much about that hit by pitch there in that last at bat. Kind of forget about it, put it out of mind. You only gave up 1 run, and especially with an offense that's as high caliber as this one is, 1 run really isn't going to be all that consequential in the long run.
Hard ground ball, and Tanner Norman is just able to get a hold of it. Gives an underhand toss to Simon Lunsford, and the runner at first is out, but another run does score. It's Cal Anthony from third. Gartman is now over at third, and Jet Huffman is at second. The BJs go to the top of their order with number 12, Ben Finnegan, the center fielder out of Trabuco Canyon, California. And a pop-up on the first pitch. Goes over the lights and lands next to the picnic tables. So Finnegan falls behind with 1 strike. He was part of those 3 leadoff batters that Simon Lunsford struck out in the first inning. And on the 0-1, that one misses high and outside, evens the count up. Larks bat boy will bring in some new baseballs to the home plate umpire. So it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Ben Finnegan. Here's the pitch. And that drops into the strike zone. It's 1-2 again. Lunsford just needs 1 more strike to end the inning. Liberals got 2 runners in scoring position. And this one's popped up. Hutch Russell will track it down. And he makes the catch on the run in foul territory, and that ends the inning. But 2 runs score from Liberal. They bring home Noah Giovanelli and Cal Anthony. And they have a 2-0 lead going into the bottom half of the inning. Liberal sent 7 batters up to the plate in the top of the second inning after going 3 up, 3 down in the first. They scored 2 runs off of just 1 hit, and 2 runners are left on the base path. Now it's the Larks' turn. They will be led off by Dylan LaRue and then Sean Keenan and Braden Hebner. And LaRue hits a ground ball to the first baseman, Giovanelli, and he tosses it to his pitcher, Kappelman, and gets the first out. The Larks have been making the right side of that infield work so far early on. 3 outs to the second baseman, Jet Huffman, in the first inning, and there they hit a ground out to Giovanelli.
Well, it seems like it was that way too in Game 1. I felt like they hit to that right side of the field pretty frequently, and I think that's attributed to the amount of left-handed batters they have in this lineup. Of course, Dylan LaRue is a switch hitter himself, but there's other batters in this lineup that only exclusively bat from that left-handed side.
The first pitch is a strike to Sean Keenan. Moving back over to center field tonight. He was in right field in last night's game. And on the 0-1, he takes a swing, hits a fly ball. Rojas runs after it, and he's got the catch. So now the Larks bring up number 20, Braden Hebner, the left fielder from Ball State. His lone hit last night was a double. He also scored a run. Larks are trying to avoid a 3-up, 3-down inning against Jay Brooks Kappelman. And the sophomore gets that one into the strike zone. And the count is 0-1. The catcher wants it low and outside. And that one's going to find the strike zone as well, so Hebner falls behind 0-2. Hebner steps back into the box. Waves the black bat above his head. And here's the pitch. It's popped up. Calling for it is Huffman. Now Anthony. And it's the right fielder that catches it in the end. And it ends the inning. It's another 3-up, 3-down inning. And Liberal leads it 2-0 going into the top of the third. We'll be back to Larks Park here in just a moment. It is time for the top of the third inning, and Liberal will bring up their 2-3-4 batters to face Simon Lunsford. He goes outside on the first pitch to Trenton Uyeda, and the count is 1-0. Uyeda struck out looking in his first appearance, now is ahead 2-0. Liberal went 3-up, 3-down in the first, and then brought up 7 batters to the plate in the second, scoring 2 runs. Trying to keep the rally going. This is a ground ball over to Rainer Bean. He bobbles it and will pick it up, and he is not going to be able to get a throw down to first in time. It's now 2 errors from the Larks early on in this game. And the leadoff batter is on. That brings up the 3-hole batter, Cole Manuel, who hit his 4th home run of the season last night. He is ready for the pitch from Lunsford. It's on its way, and it is lined foul into the parking lot of doom. So no balls and 1 strike is the count to the catcher from Clinton, Mississippi. Norman is covering first. Uyeda's taking a lead. Here's Lunsford's next pitch, and it's a swing and a miss. Manuel falls behind 0-2. He has yet to see a ball thrown by Lunsford. When he struck out at the end of the first inning, that was on an 0-2 count. LaRue wants this one low and outside, and he gets another swinging strikeout, and the throw down to second is not going to be, the tag's not going to be applied in time. Rainer Bean was the one that fielded it and then had to reach his arm behind because he was running away from the bag. But the Larks are able to get the batter out at home, and that now brings up Noah Giovanelli.
Well, the Larks are lucky that they had a guy over there that was able to get there in time because LaRue just jumped up and threw that ball immediately, right as that batter took that swing. And the Larks are really lucky that that ball didn't get into the outfield because that would have been extra bases for the BJs.
That is outside of Giovanelli for ball 1. When Liberal got their leadoff batter on in the second inning, they scored 2 runs. We'll see what they do with Trenton Uyeda at second. And on the 1-0, that one's going to find the strike zone on the changeup, and it evens the count up. Giovanelli made 4 appearances as a batter yesterday, where he went 2 for 4 and also had a walk. He will now be tied in the count with Lunsford, 2-1. Giovanelli's back at first tonight. He had to come out of the game in the 8th inning because he hit a double, made it to second base, slid in, and I believe he got injured. So Liberal had to make some defensive substitutions, but he's back in the lineup tonight, so it's good to see him back. He now faces a 2-2 count in his second at-bat. He's already gotten a base hit in the second inning and scored the first run. Lunsford looks back at second base twice, now a third time, and focuses on the batter, and that will be fouled back into the net.
I would imagine that Lunsford is a little bit gun-shy with Ueda over there on second base. He's really got some wheels on him, and I would imagine that for the Larks, they're trying to do all they can to keep him off of third base.
Lunsford going for his 6th strikeout of the night. He doesn't get it just yet. It's another full count against the BJs. Noah Giovanelli is followed by Cal Anthony and Cade Adams. Lunsford is ready. Looks back at second again. Here's the payoff pitch. And that's popped up out of play. Giovanelli now awaits the 8th pitch of the at-bat from the freshman out of Lakewood, Colorado.
They're certainly making Lunsford work for it, and that's going to be the key to success for both of these teams tonight. Try to get that starting pitcher off the hill as quick as they possibly can to limit how long the ace is up on the rubber.
Home plate umpire will call time. Giovanelli steps out of the left-handed box. The right side of the Larks infield is playing near the outfield grass. Here comes the 8th pitch, and that's ball 4. So that'll put runners at first and second base and bring up Cal Anthony, number 19. He scored in the second inning along with Giovanelli on a ground out by the 9-hole batter Josiah Rojas. He was able to bring Anthony home. Lunsford continuing to watch the runner at second base. And he misses high and outside for ball 1.
Seems like Ueda might have gotten in Lunsford's head a little bit. He's got to hone this back in here to avoid letting this slip up like it did in the second inning.
The 1-0 goes to the plate, and it's a swing and a miss for strike 1. When Cal Anthony walked in the second inning, it was on a full count. Now Anthony steps back into the box. He's part of that group of 3 Liberal players that are committed to play for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and it's now 1-2 as he swings and misses at another one.
Last 2 pitches came over that inner half of the plate. They were elevated in the zone. I wouldn't be surprised here if he tries to go down and away here on this next pitch.
Larks fans cheering on Simon Lunsford to get the second out. The 1-2 is on its way to the plate, and it's a swing and a miss for out number 2. That is the 6th strikeout of the game for Simon Lunsford in just the 3rd inning. And now he needs to get one more out to leave those 2 runners stranded at first and second.
That was a crucial out there for Lunsford because now you're not afraid of that sacrifice fly out to right field or even to left field, especially with the lead runner like Ueda, who's really got some wheels. Lunsford really did himself a favor and the defense a favor for that matter on that strikeout.
Lunsford will face the DH, Cade Adams. First pitch goes to the plate, And it's a swing and a miss, and the count is 0-1 to the Southern Miss Golden Eagle. Lunsford takes his time, looks back at second again. Uyeda's already stolen once. That ball takes a bounce. LaRue's able to get a hold of it. Count goes even with 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, LaRue is such a brick wall back there behind the plate. There's not a lot that gets behind him, especially on those balls that go on the turf. He's really good at getting his body in front of him and keeping that ball in front of him.
On the 1-1, Lunsford goes to the curveball and finds the inside part of the zone. There is strike number 2. We'll see where LaRue puts his glove. Adams was trying to avoid getting struck out for a second time tonight, and he swings and misses on the 1-2 count, and that ends the inning. And for the 5th time this season, Simon Lunsford gets 7 strikeouts in a game, and it's only the end of the 3rd inning. The Larks are looking for their first hit. They go now to the bottom third of their order. We'll have that when we come back here on the Larks Network. Welcome back to Larks Park for the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's the bottom third of the Larks order up to bat now. They're still in search of their first hit. All 6 batters up to this point have put the ball in play. Just looking for that one at-bat that can change the momentum. Up to bat for the Larks to face Jay Brooks Kappelman is number 32, Bran Wilson. For the 2nd time in this series, he swings and misses on the first pitch. And the count begins with strike 1.
You got to wonder, once the Larks get through their lineup one full time, if their approach changes when they get up to the plate, if they're a little bit more methodical in their at-bats.
Now another swing and a miss, and that's 2 strikes now to Wilson. And I'd have to assume this game means a lot to him because he played for Liberal last season, and then afterwards he joined the Oklahoma MVP at the NBC World Series. He was 1 for 4 last night. He swings and strikes out on his first at-bat of the game. There is out number 1.
It was 3 pitches and 3 swings, and they were all very enticing pitches. This Kappelman is doing an excellent job on the hill so far in this outing, and he's really throwing convincing pitches. They're close enough to where batters want to swing at them. They want to try and protect the plate, but they're not anything that you would consider a cookie over the middle of the dish, and it's just making it really difficult for this Larks lineup to see the ball.
Here's number 34, Tanner Norman. Both him and Cooper Holtorf are new to the lineup tonight. Kappelman goes outside to Norman, and the count is 1-0.
It was interesting that LaRue ended up playing first base 2 nights in a row. A lot of times we'll see him play one night in a series, and then he'll take a rest night and then end up playing catcher the next night. But Norman had a little bit more rest than he's used to, so I'm sure that he's ready to go here this evening.
Well, the thing about LaRue is that you can play him anywhere on the field. On the website for the Larks, he's listed as a catcher and an outfielder, but he can also play multiple spots in the infield. And that's what makes him such a high-value player.
Extremely versatile. LaRue is a player that is always fun to watch. And not only is he versatile in the field, but he's versatile at the plate, too. He's a switch hitter. It's very rare you see a player that can really do it all like he does.
3 balls and no strikes to Tanner Norman, and he will get walked on the 4th pitch. He is the Larks' first base runner of the night as they go to their 9-hole hitter, Cooper Holtorf.
Well, the Larks needed that. That I think was a little bit of a mental roadblock that they hadn't gotten a base runner on the base paths yet, and now that they've got Tanner Norman over there on first base, I think we might see them loosen up a little bit more and have a little bit more of a relaxed approach to the plate.
We'll see what Holtorf can do. He enters with a .353 average in 13 games. That gives him 18 hits and 51 at-bats. Swings and misses on the first pitch. No balls and 1 strike to the right fielder from Oklahoma City. Norman takes a short lead at first, and there's strike 2 to Holtorf. Now, Tanner Norman hasn't been one of the Larks' top stealers yet this season. He has stolen a base 4 times for a Larks team that has 95 steals in 108 attempts.
It's a pretty good percentage, I'd say, in terms of steal attempts to total successful steals this season. They have really done a great job at working the base paths to their advantage.
We're also still waiting for the Larks to steal in this series. They haven't attempted a steal yet in this series. Holtorf fights back with a ball on that pitch from Jay Brooks Kappelman.
Certainly very interesting they haven't attempted a steal in this series. They're usually very aggressive on the base paths all throughout the game.
Here's the 1-2. That one misses high and inside. Evens the count up to Holtorf. The Larks will go back to the top of their order after this. Norman was playing close to the bag at first. Now he takes an even bigger lead. Here's the pitch. And that misses on the outside. And after being down 0-2, Holtorf gets 3 straight balls and works back up to a full count.
That was a great take from Holtorf. Immediately recognized the slider out of the hand. It's not easy to do that when it's a righty-righty matchup like this. Props to Holtorf there on holding back on that pitch.
Here's the payoff pitch. And Holtorf will strike out looking. There's now 2 away here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and that returns the Larks to the top of their order with number 3, Rainer Bean. Would not be surprised if Tanner Norman takes a lead and then the first baseman Giovanelli gets away from the first base bag, because Rainer Bean was part of that group of the first 4 Larks batters that hit to the right side of the infield. But his ground out went to the second baseman Huffman.
We can see Huffman's actually kind of playing a little bit deeper in the outfield. He's pretty much has his heels on the outfield grass where it meets the turf over here in the infield on that right side of the field.
On the 1-0, Bean takes a big swing, and there's his first strike.
I'm interested to see how Bean changes his approach here in this at-bat, because he had a little bit of meeting with Tabor Stokes before Stokes got up to the plate his last time when he grounded out over to Huffman.
Throw goes back to first again. Norman slides back in time. Here's Kappelman's next pitch. This one's a line drive, and this one's going to stay fair down the left field foul line. Norman makes his way to third. The left fielder picks it up, and Ben Tinius will tell Tanner Norman to stay put. The Larks have 2 runners in scoring position now on the double on a 1-1 count for Rainer Bean.
Well, his first time up, he grounded out over to Huffman on that right side of the field. This time he was able to go opposite field, oppo on that particular at-bat, and excellent job there from Bean to just get ahead of that pitch and just drop it over there into left field. Gave himself plenty of time to get over to second base, and now he's put himself and Norman in scoring position. This is a big spot now for Tabor Stokes to break this one open.
Stokes had 2 RBIs last night. He has 63 in his Larks career. That includes 8 this season. With 2 outs, he leaves the first pitch outside, and he begins with a 1-0 count. Kappelman has only given up 11 runs in 21 1/3 innings coming into this game. 9 of those runs have been earned. That puts his ERA at 2.95. Now Stokes is ahead with 2 balls.
Not far away from Lunsford's ERA, and these two are very evenly matched in terms of their ability on the hill. It's going to be a really fun one here tonight going into the later innings.
And it's 2 Division II pitchers. Kappelman just played his sophomore year at Seward County. He's committed to play at Pitt State. And for Lunsford, he plays for one of the top baseball programs in Division II at Colorado Mesa.
Yeah, and I would imagine they might even have an opportunity of seeing, or at least encountering each other's teams in the regular season, just with the way that MIAA baseball is structured.
Here's the 3-0, and there's the first strike on the fastball. It touches the low outside corner.
We're back to the part of the lineup now for the Larks where they've seen Kappelman's stuff already. They've gotten a feel for the way that he pitches. We'll have to see what more adjustments that they can make, similar to how Bean was able to go oppo on that last at bat.
Kappelman goes outside. Stokes takes a swing at it. It's a foul tip, and it's another full count for the Larks.
Kappelman's slider is really good. That is one of his strongest pitches I've noticed here in these first 3 innings. His slider just has so much break on it, it's really hard to lay off of it.
Kappelman comes into tonight's game with 32 strikeouts and 12 walks as he deals the payoff pitch, and he adds another strikeout in this inning. That is how he gets all 3 outs and leaves 2 runners stranded. Larks still have no score. Liberals ahead by 2 going into the top of the 4th inning.
Hey, Larks! So join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks! Join me down at the old ballpark. I'll be rooting for the Hayes Larks. Hayes Larks!
We welcome you back to Larks Park. I'm Eli Blankenship, joined alongside me Hank Corsair. It's the top of the 3rd inning. The BJs are back up to the plate after stranding 2 on the base paths that the Larks were able to get in scoring position. Leading things off for the BJs is number 2, Drew Gartman, the shortstop. Starts the count 1-0. The 1-0 pitch slides its way over the inner half for strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike to Gartman. He reached on an E4 his last time up. In the top of the 2nd inning, he swings and misses that pitch. The count moves to 1-2. Larks trail at 2-0 against the BJs. BJs were able to tack on 2 runs in the top of the 2nd inning. The 1-2 pitch missing low over the outer half of the plate from Simon Lunsford. Both of those runs that were scored in the top of the 2nd inning, both will go down as earned runs against Lunsford. It's now the 2-2 over the outer half is there for strike 3. Lunsford able to dot that one over the outer half of the strike zone for out number 1 of the inning, and that is strikeout number 7 on the night for him. That brings up the second baseman, Jet Huffman, wearing number 3 and batting in the 8-hole spot for the BJs. The first pitch to him is foul tipped behind home plate. That ball was high in the zone over the outer half of the plate and evidently is enticing enough. Looks like that may have been a fastball out of the hand of Lunsford. The 0-1. Misses over the outer half. 1 ball and 1 strike. Huffman is marked down with an RBI in his last at bat as he was actually hit by a pitch, which drove in a run. As now he pops one up. Apologies, folks. My microphone was not cooperating there with me. That pitch that he popped up was just over the backstop, landing in that walkway area. He fouled another one away, and now the count is 1-2. The pitch, a curveball that gets out of the hand of Lunsford. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. The count to Jet Huffman. Huffman, I mentioned, batting in that 8-hole spot. His last time up, marked down an RBI on a hit by pitch, the 2-2. Swing and a miss, and that's strikeout number 2 of the inning. Back-to-back Ks for Simon Lunsford.
He's starting to settle in now, finding the zone, and also since he's gone through the lineup twice, or this is his second time through the lineup, he knows the tendencies of the batters, so he can catch them swinging.
That's 8 strikeouts in 3 2/3 innings for Simon Lunsford. He now faces the 9-hole hitter, Josiah Rojas. The first pitch to him is low and up the pipe, 4-1.
2 runs, a hit Liberal, no errors. No runs, a hit Hayes, 2 errors. Didn't mean to, but he went around. It's
1 ball and 1 strike now the count. Lunsford adjusts his bright red cap. Takes a breath. Pitches out of the full windup. The 1-1 is popped up into the infield. Underneath it is the second baseman, Bean. He makes the catch. And that's 3 up, 3 down for the BJs in the top of the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. BJs lead it 2-0 going into the bottom of the 4th. Well, it's a gusty evening here in Hays, Kansas. The sun starting to reach the horizon, not quite there yet. It was a pretty warm first pitch, right around 90 degrees. Felt pretty close to triple digits on that feels like temperature. But the wind has yet to die down as the heat has somewhat subsided here in the top or the bottom of the fourth inning rather. Leading things off for the Larks, Hutch Russell, the 3-hole hitter, third baseman. The Larks last time up stranded 2 on the base paths after getting 2 in scoring position. The 0-1 to Russell is over the outer half. Russell looks back to the home plate umpire in disbelief. Not agreeance with that pitch. Count moves to 0-2. Russell will have to protect now. Kappelman looks home, comes set, deals the 0-2. This one's high and out of the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The BJs wearing their powder blue tops this evening with white bottoms. Powder blue caps with white backs on them. As now Russell pops one foul over the top of the netting and on top of the batting cages. Actually just landed right on top of it over there, just behind the Larks dugout down the third base side. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count to Russell. Kappelman comes set. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Had a fastball down in the dirt. Drop third strikes, thrown over to first, and Russell is retired.
And for Kappelman, he didn't start recording strikeouts until the last inning, so he had to take some time to settle in, but now he's getting comfortable there on the mound, and he's starting to find the strike zone against the Larks.
That'll bring up Dylan LaRue, batting in the 4-hole spot for the Larks this evening. He grounded out his first time up. He was a part of those first 2 innings where Kappelman was able to retire the side twice in 3 up, 3 down fashion. As the first pitch to LaRue misses over the outer half for ball 1. LaRue waves his bright orange bat through the zone, holds it just behind his navy blue helmet. The 1-2 is upstairs. 2 balls and no strikes to count. Kappelman takes a breath, licks his back right hand, comes set, has a bit of a backwards lean. The 2-0 is into the turf, and it actually, I think that bounced and hit LaRue. So LaRue will have a free trip down to first base on a hit by pitch. It's almost like that ball stuck to the hands of Kappelman as he couldn't quite get it out of the hand soon enough. The release point was just too late, and it went straight into the turf. And lucky for LaRue, it didn't come at him with all that much velocity, considering the pitch was into the turf first and broke some of that velocity before it ended up bouncing and hitting him.
But he won't have to worry about running. They're checking in Cade Green over at first base. He will serve as the courtesy runner tonight.
I think that's the right decision now. You wonder, is it time for the Larks to get aggressive on the base paths for the first time in the series? That brings up the left-handed hitter and center fielder Sean Keenan, wearing number 7 for the Larks, as Cade Green slides back in, head first over to first base safely. The first pitch to Keenan is sliced foul as it shades away down the third base line into that dirt path near the bullpen, just past the Larks dugout. Count starts at 0-1 to Keenan. Keenan will adjust his ankle guard and step back in that left-handed batter's box. Kappelman leans towards home plate. Now leans back on that back right foot. He throws very quickly over to first in a jolty movement. Green slides back in safely. 0-1, still the count. Keenan steps back in the left-handed batter's box. He awaits the pitch. The 0-1 is blooped into center field. Underneath it is the center fielder Finnegan. He makes the catch, and there's 2 away. That's 2 flyouts on the afternoon for Sean Keenan, and that brings up the left fielder, Braden Hebner. Hebner flew out to right his first time up. He'll look to improve on that here, as it's a righty-righty matchup at the plate. 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th. Runner on first, and the BJs lead it 2-0. The first pitch to Hebner, missing over the outer half for ball 1. One ball and no strikes. Kappelman nods his head. Deals the 1-0. That one is popped up sky high into the sky blue air. There to make the catch is Ueda over at third for out number 3. The Larks strand 1, no runs, no hits, and no errors. We go to the top of the 5th. Larks trail it 2-0 to the BJs. We welcome you back to Larks Park. It's the top of the 5th inning. We've just reached that hour mark here at Larks Park. That first pitch came at 7:07. The time now here on the Great Plains, 8:11. As Lunsford deals the first pitch of the inning to Ben Finnegan, the top of the order for the BJs. That one is fouled way out of play into the neighborhood behind Larks Park.
We've been having a lot of quick games lately with all the low scoring. There's all zeros across the right field scoreboard except for the 2 in the top of the 2nd inning and liberal score column.
The 0-1 from Lunsford. That one's a ground ball over to Bean. Bean takes a couple hops, throws it over to Norman at first, and that's out number 1. That'll bring up the 2-hole hitter, Trenton Ueda, the third baseman. Reached on an E4 his last time up and struck out looking in his first at bat. Ueda, a righty, facing the righty pitcher Lunsford. The first pitch to him, a slider over the outer half for strike 1. Ueda takes a twirl through the zone with his black bat, though 1 missing outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. The Larks wearing their bright red uniforms this evening. We haven't seen them wear those at home a whole lot this year. They've got 2 white stripes around the sleeves and the words Larks across the chest in white lettering with white bottoms and a red belt in accent with white numbers and lettering on the front and back. Of course, they've got their 80th anniversary caps on this evening. The 2-1 is popped up into deep right field. Tracking it down as Holtorf makes the catch out in right field, just shy of that 319 foul pole.
That was perfectly placed by Ueda, but Holtorf showing off the athleticism, able to get there in time and make the catch.
So there's 2 away now, 2 up, 2 down to start the inning here on the top of the 5th for Lunsford. And that brings up the catcher, Cole Manuel. The first pitch to Manuel is upstairs and inside for ball 1. Manuel with a slight bend in the knees. The 1-0 is fouled away down the first base side. Count moves to 1 ball and 1 strike. Manuel so far 0 for 2 on 2 strikeouts, both, of course, courtesy of Simon Lunsford. He's up to 9 so far in the outing. The 1-1 is fouled way out of play into the parking lot of Doom. And I can see a couple of youngsters out there in the parking lot trying to track down those foul balls to earn those dollars over at the Larks Nest. I'm sure they're trying to save up for some sort of concession of some sort. The 1-2 from Lunsford. Got him over the outer half. Strike 3. Lunsford's in double digits tonight with strikeouts, and he has had nothing short of a business trip on the mound. 3 up, 3 down, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. And we're at the halfway point here in Hayes. It's the bottom of the 5th inning here in Hayes, Kansas. We're at that halfway mark at the time of 8:16 p.m. Things are moving pretty quick here this evening in this pitcher's duel. Both teams with their aces on the mound. Brooks Kappelman on the hill for the BJs, and of course Simon Lunsford on the hill for the Larks. And now a ball that is belted out to left field by Brand Wilson. It's popped up sky high. The wind keeps that one well in play, and underneath it was Rojas, who made the grab for out number 1.
That one looked like it could have gone a pretty big distance, but Wilson had the power, just the launch angle was not in his favor.
100%, and it's that launch angle that really is important, especially on a night like tonight when it's as windy as it is at Larks Park. The wind not doing any favors for these players tonight, as the wind is coming directly at the face of the athletes tonight. That brings up the first baseman, Tanner Norman. He's been one of the only base runners for the Larks here this evening, as he drills one out to center field. Underneath it is Finnegan, who makes the easy grab after taking a few steps to his right. And there's 2 away just like that. That brings up the 9-hole hitter, the right fielder, number 1, Cooper Holtorf. And boy, if Kappelman can put him away as quick as he did the last 2, this will be a very quick inning. Kappelman deals. The first pitch is high and outside for ball 1. Notice in counts that Kappelman deals a first pitch strike, he certainly has a higher success rate in getting out the batters. The 1-0 is a slider missing over the outer half. Now, granted, that's a generally speaking a pretty much a common sense thing. If you pitch that first strike, it really to any batter, you're going to have a higher chance of striking out that batter. The 2-0 count drops over the outer half for strike 1. Holtorf not in a bad position now, though. A curveball on the 2-1 count drops into the zone for strike 2. Holtorf 0 for 1 so far in the contest. Struck out looking his first at bat. The 2-2. Kappelman nods his head, comes set, deals the pitch. Holtorf chops that one foul down the third base line. And it collides with that fence over there right in front of the Larks bullpen. Apologies again, folks. I'm having some more technical difficulties with the microphone. The 2-2 is popped up high in the air out into shallow right field. Tracking it down is Anthony. He makes the catch with his aquamarine glove. And that's 3 up, 3 down with a 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Larks. We go to the top of the 6th, and it's the 4, 5, and 6 hole hitters up to bat for the BJs. Two 2-0 is the score in favor of the Liberal BJs here in the top of the 6th inning. Lunsford remains on the hill. And Giovanelli, the 4-hole hitter, swings and misses at that pitch, and he starts the count 0-2 against Simon Lunsford. Giovanelli, that 4-hole hitter for BJs, playing first base. Takes the 0-2 outside for ball 1. The 1-2. Misses low over the inner half of the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes now, the count to Giovanelli. Giovanelli has this like Hunter's safety orange bat. It's not quite the same shade as LaRue's orange bat, but it's certainly close. He waves it just behind his powder blue helmet, the 2-2. Inside, Giovanelli jumps out of the way, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes, a full count now to the first baseman. Giovanelli 1 for 2 tonight in the contest, had a single his first time up and reached on a base on balls his second time. The payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. That's strikeout number 11 on the night for Simon Lunsford. He was able to go 3 up, 3 down in the last 2 innings, and he'll look to do that here again in the top of the 6th with a strikeout to start the side.
And in his 7th game as a Lark, that's Simon Lunsford's 50th strikeout of the season. It's just incredible to see him hit that mark already.
Lunsford has certainly taken his role as the ace of this bullpen very seriously. The first pitch to the right fielder, Cal Anthony, paints the inner half for a strike, and now the 0-1 low over the middle of the plate for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike to the right fielder, Anthony. The 1-1 is a big swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch over the outer half of the plate. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes now. A little bit of movement in the Larks bullpen. Nobody throwing pitches right at the moment. It seems like just stretching going on over in the Larks bullpen. The 1-2 is foul tipped. Thought it was a swing and a miss initially, but the very end of that bat, just the tip of the bat from Cal Anthony, was able to make contact with it, and he'll live to fight at least 1 more pitch.
And that would have been an out if Dylan LaRue was able to hold on to it.
The 1-2 is way over the head of Anthony. He had a duck out of the way, and it hit him on the top of the helmet, the crown of the helmet, really. He seems to be okay as he jogs down to first base. So that brings up the designated hitter wearing number 38 for the BJs, Cade Adams. 0 for 2 on the evening on 2 strikeouts. Lunsford deals the first pitch. It's inside on Adams and near the ankles. 1 ball and no strikes on a good stop from LaRue behind the plate. Lunsford nods his head, the 1-0. A fastball over the outer half for a strike. LaRue does a really nice job at moving his body where he wants that pitch to go. The 1-1. That one low over the inner half. LaRue had his body positioned over the outer half of the plate, but I wonder if Lunsford's command on that pitch wasn't exactly where he wanted it to go. Now the 2-1. A big swing and a miss from Adams. The count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lunsford shakes his head no. Checks back over to first base. Comes set. Now the 2-2. That one's chopped over to the first baseman. The throw over to second is not in time. So Norman takes it himself, steps on first base for the force out. He threw it over to Stokes, and Stokes wasn't able to put the tag on in time. And, of course, the lead runner, Anthony, had a decent jump, all things considered, with there being already an out on the board. That brings up Drew Gartman, the shortstop. 0 for 2, reached on an error his first time up. Struck out looking in his last at bat. One runner in scoring position. The bunt goes into the crowd. And the bleachers pretty much on this left side of the bleachers. Not far from us, actually, only a few rows down from the booth. An 0-1 count to Gartman. I'm a little bit intrigued as to why he showed bunt there with 2 strikes. Or 2 outs, rather, on the board. He showed bunt there again, pulled it back in time, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. With that lead runner in scoring position on second base, the 1-1. Fastball is away over the left-handed batter's box. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. You've got to imagine Gartman has a lot of faith in his speed if he's showing bunt on a 2-out count. The 2-1, a big swing and a miss, and now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lunsford looks home. Now takes a look back to second base. He deals the 2-2. This one high and inside on Gartman. 3 balls and 2 strikes now, the count to Gartman. A payoff pitch here in just a moment. Lunsford takes a breath. Still looking towards LaRue. Shakes his head no a couple times. Finally settles on the pitch he wants. Looks back to second. The pitch. Swing and a miss. A drop third strike. The throw over to first is good. What a strikeout for Simon Lunsford. He's up to 12 on the outing. And the Larks allow no runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. It's the top of the order for the Larks when we come back on the Larks Network. Well, it's the 1-2-3 hole hitters due up for the Larks here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and they need some runs to pull themselves back into this contest. They trail the BJs 2-0. The BJs and the Larks have both been scoreless since the top of the 2nd inning when the BJs were able to manufacture a couple runs in the top of the 2nd. Kappelman remains on the hill for the BJs. The first pitch, a curveball over the center of the plate for strike 1 to Rainer Bean. The last inning, the Larks went 3 up, 3 down. They flew out to left field, center field, and right field in the inning. The 0-1 to Bean. This one's popped up into shallow left, backing up on it to Ueda. He makes the catch, and there's 1 away. So far, Kappelman's done a pretty good job at generating weak contact from this Larks lineup. There's only been a couple balls that have been hit with enough power where you thought they had had a chance of at least getting out of the infield. But a lot of these pitches, Kappelman's doing a very good job at strategically pitching differently to each batter in the lineup. The fastball rips across the zone for strike 1 to Stokes. Stokes batting in that 2-hole spot for the Larks here this evening. 0 for 2 on the outing. Flew out in his first at-bat and struck out in his second, the 0-1. That one into the turf, 1 ball and 1 strike. Stokes taps his black bat on home plate. Waves the wand through the zone. The 1-1. Kappelman's pitch swoops over that outer half of the plate for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Stokes twirling his bat. The pitch. Stokes a big swing and a miss, and Kappelman's got another strikeout on the outing. That brings up the 3-hole hitter, Hutch Russell. He'll look to keep the Larks alive here in the bottom of the 6th and avoid going 3 up, 3 down in back-to-back innings. Hutch Russell draws across into the turf before stepping into that left-handed batter's box. He taps his bat on home plate, twirls it in the air a few times. The first pitch is below the knees for a ball. Russell 0 for 2 in the afternoon. Grounded out to second base his first time up and struck out in his second at bat. The 1-0. Misses over the outer half. Fastball certainly wasn't at the maximum velocity that Kappelman can pitch at. He's got a pretty solid velocity. Being the right-hander that he is. He looks home. The 2-0 is a breaking ball that misses over the inner half of the plate. That one certainly had a chance, but I think it was just a hair low for the home plate umpire's liking. 3 balls and no strikes to Hutch Russell. He'll look to avoid going 3 up, 3 down here in the bottom of the 6th. The 3-0 pitch over the middle of the zone for strike 1. 3 balls and 1 strike to count to Russell. Russell in no hurry to swing at anything that's not a cookie. The 3-1 is a swing and a foul ball that dribbles behind home plate, and I think Russell's a little bit irritated with himself that he didn't make better contact with that pitch, as that was a good one to swing at. Full count now. 3 balls and 2 strikes and a payoff pitch on the way. Kappelman comes set. Fires the pitch. Ball 4. That was close. Over the outer half, just missed by a fraction of an inch.
That very easily could have been strike number 3. It's that low outside corner that Kappelman was angling the ball at, just a little bit too far low.
A very keen eye by Hutch Russell will get him over to first base, and that brings up the switch hitter, Dylan LaRue. LaRue, one of now 4 base runners for the Larks here this evening. LaRue was hit by a pitch in the bottom of the 4th inning, which was able to get him over to first base. The first pitch to LaRue's into the turf and inside for ball 1. BJs still lead it 2-0, a runner on first and 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The 1-0 gets away from the catcher Manuel, and that'll be a free base for Russell. He'll round second base, and now there's a runner in scoring position with one of the more talented hitters with runners in scoring position up to the plate.
With how good of a game Kappelman has been pitching, the Larks just have to take whatever they can get, and you saw it right there, a heads-up play by Hutch Russell, seeing the ball roll away long enough for him to take second base.
So now we'll have a meeting on the mound with Kappelman. I don't see any movement in the bullpen over off of the first base side, so this will certainly just be a chat with the pitcher, Kappelman, to kind of rein things back in.
Well, they have Anthony Edwards in there right now. He's a right-hander, and they just sent another right-hander, Sean Size, in there as well.
No actual pitchers throwing pitches yet in the bullpen, but they're just warming up the arms, stretching things out. So it'll be interesting to see what his shutdown point is, how long they'll keep him in this game. A lot of times with those aces, they're expecting them to go, 7, sometimes even 8 innings if they can get them to go that far. So it's a 2-0 count to LaRue and a runner in scoring position now for the Larks. This could be a chance for the Larks to break onto the scoreboard. LaRue waves that orange bat behind his helmet. The 2-0 is upstairs, and 3 balls and no strikes is the count to the catcher. 3 games in a row LaRue has played, and rightfully so, as his bat has been red hot for this Larks team so far. The 3-0 drops its way over the outer half of the plate for strike 1. That one very similar to the pitch that Russell took for ball 4 on his last at-bat. Kappelman looks home, finds the pitch that he likes. Now deals the 3-1. That one's fouled away by LaRue. Back into that safety netting just behind the Schmacher-Nelson field. Tex right behind home plate. A full count now to LaRue. This is a big spot here for the catcher. Kappelman nods his head, looks back to second base. The payoff pitch. Left upstairs, it's ball 4, and that's back-to-back base on balls for Kappelman. So now 2 runners on for the Larks. Runners on first and second. Cade Green comes in as a courtesy runner for Dylan LaRue. The Larks have the tying run over at first, and what could be their first run of the contest, just 180 feet away from home plate over at second base. 2 on, 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th. It's the 5-hole hitter Sean Keenan up to the plate. He is due for a hit here in this one. 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts in the contest. That one's dribbled over to the second baseman Huffman. The throw over to first base is in time to Giovanelli to retire the inning. The Larks strand 2 on no hits, no runs, no errors. After 6 innings, the BJs lead it 2-0 here in Hayes.
Back here at Larks Park for the top of the 7th inning, and it took until the top of the 7th inning for either team to make a change on the mound. Max Hendricks comes in to replace Simon Lunsford, who had one of the best performances of the season in 6 innings, only 1 hit allowed, 2 runs, and 12 strikeouts for Lunsford. Replacing him is number 21, Max Hendricks, who actually pitched 2 nights ago against the BJs, earning the save in his first game in 19 days. Hendricks will face the 8-9-1 batters for Liberal. He starts with the Seward County freshman, Jet Huffman. Hendricks gets set for the start of this inning. And the first pitch finds the low inside corner for strike 1. Huffman has reached base once, was hit in the 2nd inning, and that also scored one of their 2 runs that inning. And he struck out against Lunsford in the 4th inning. Now he's down with 2 strikes. Hendricks goes to his curveball, drops it into the zone. Hendricks has 4 games up to this point, 10 2/3 innings, and a 2-0 record, coming off of his first save 2 nights ago. Here's the pitch. That time he targets the low outside corner, and the home plate umpire will call it ball 1. On the note of the Larks making a pitching change, bringing in Max Hendricks, Liberal now has multiple guys in their right field bullpen, so we could be seeing a change in a little bit from Jay Brooks Kappelman. The 1-2 is a slider on the outside, and it evens the count up.
Well, Hank, at this stage of the season, I think teams are wanting to conserve their bullpens, especially with the NBC World Series looming large on the horizon. You don't want to overwork a guy like Simon Lunsford or Kappelman, especially with a high-stakes tournament like that.
On the 2-2, this one's going to go foul right into the hands of Liberal's third base coach, and the fans give him a round of applause, and rightfully so.
That was smooth. That was smooth. He got an applause from the home crowd. That's notable, especially with this with this with the rivalry that there is between these two teams. I've got to say that's impressive.
Count now moves to 3-2. I'm trying to look at the media guide to see who that is on the first base side. It is either, I think, Johnny Bailey's or Gino Causey, one of the two assistant coaches. All their coaches have baseball backgrounds, and Huffman gets hit on the arm on the full count.
Well, I tell you, that's one of the more tricky things to figure out sometimes as a broadcaster is figuring out who the base coaches are. You get a roster, and they're like, okay, the head coach is so-and-so, and the pitching coach is so-and-so, and this person is so-and-so, and it's like, okay, well, of those three, who is who? Because we don't always get faces sometimes with that side of it. So it's always a little tricky for us sometimes up here in the booth.
Liberal now goes to their 9-hole batter, Josiah Rojas, with the runner at first base. The pitch goes to the outside corner on a fastball. It's called ball one by the home plate umpire. Hendricks gives a nod to the catcher, Dylan LaRue. Here's the 1-0. That one misses, and it's now 2-0. Hendricks comes into tonight's game with an ERA of 1.97 and 10 strikeouts in his 4 games. This is his second batter he's facing. And on the 2-0, he misses on a fastball once again. That is ball 3.
Well, we should note that this is the second time Hendricks has faced this BJ's team in this series. Hendricks came in as a closer in game 1 of the series in that non-league matchup.
LaRue puts his glove low. And the 3-0 catches the strike zone. That's the first strike to Rojas, who has put 2 balls in play tonight. Grounded out in the second inning to the first baseman, Tanner Norman, and then popped out in the 4th inning to Rainer Bean over at second base. And on the 3-1, that one misses upstairs, and Keith Harper will now head out for a meeting with Max Hendricks after 2 batters faced.
Well, Harper looked over to the Larks bullpen, kind of seeing who might be over there, and he just pointed to the Larks bullpen, and I think we're already going to see a pitching change after Hendricks has only faced 2 batters.
We'll see who the new pitcher is when we come back. Liberals trying to extend their lead. They have 2 runners on and no outs. Max Hendricks only faces 2 batters tonight, and he is replaced by number 27, Sammy Fredrich. He will face the top of the BJ's order with Ben Finnegan, Trenton Uyeda, and Cole Manuel. Frederick's first pitch is popped up. Finnegan showed bunt, and it's 0-1. Frederick has made 2 relief appearances. This is his 3rd. He's pitched in 9 1/3 innings along with 2 starts. Trying to get the 3 outs. Bunt is showed once again. And the count moves to 1-1. The runner at second for Liberals, Jet Huffman. Josiah Rojas is at first. Frederick's next pitch is popped up on another bunt, and this one's going to land in the stands.
I was only a couple rows away from us up here in the press box. I thought I had a chance to fulfill my dreams. I'm still waiting for the day that I get to catch a fly ball up in the press box.
The NBC World Series is 2 weeks away, Eli.
You're right, it is, and it's crazy to think that it's only 2 weeks away. That's very soon on the horizon.
This one goes behind Finnegan, and it's now 2-2. Finnegan has to start swinging now after fouling off 2 bunts. And here's the 2-2 from Frederick, and this one is line foul into the net along the first base dugout, excuse me. Finnegan now waits the 6th pitch from the sophomore from Las Vegas, Sammy Fredrich. Fredrich is ready, so is Finnegan. Here's the pitch. That one misses outside. Frederich's hat falls off. And the count is now 3-2.
Larks could really use an out here. Be even better if they could turn a double play here on this play to keep themselves out of sacrifice fly territory.
Home plate umpire calls time. Finnegan will recollect himself. Here's the payoff pitch from Fredrich. This one is hit over to Tabor Stokes, makes a sliding play, throws it to second, and the throw to first is going to go wide of Tanner Norman. And another run is going to score for Liberal. The throw to second, not in time. 3-0 is the score in favor of Liberal. Finnegan makes it over to second on an E4, and Huffman's the runner that scores. That brings up number 29, Trenton Uyeda. Uyeda's 0 for 2, has gotten on through an error in the 3rd inning, made it to second on a steal. And the runner takes off for 3rd. No throw will be made, but that pitch was strike 1.
Well, I'm kind of thinking that on that play there that Norman just wasn't expecting the throw from Stokes, thinking that the runner was already there over at first base, and I think it really just kind of threw off his thought process over there on first base, and he just wasn't ready for it. He wasn't able to pick that ball out of the turf and made it really easy for Finnegan to just run his way over to third base. And the BJs are in a really threatening spot now after putting up the first run that we've seen since the top of the 2nd inning.
In these last 2 games, they've done a really good job of transitioning to the relief pitchers. That's kind of how last night went. The Larks subbed in Justin Piñardo. They got the bases loaded, and then they would end up putting 6 runs on the board in the top of the 6th inning. The count is now 1-2 to Uyeda.
It's very similar to what we talked about during that pregame show, just wearing out those starting pitchers, wearing out the aces, get them to exit the game early, and then force the relief pitchers to pitch to you.
The 1-2 is a line drive into right field. It is caught by Holtorf. He'll have to make a long throw to home plate, and the throw is not in time. The ball got away from LaRue, but I still believe that Finnegan would have beaten the throw. It's a sacrifice fly for Trenton Uyeda, and they extend their lead to 4-0.
Finnegan definitely would have beaten the throw, but man, that was a really beautiful throw from Holtorf. That was the best throw he could have possibly made out there in right field, especially considering the ball that he was dealt. Props to him for still putting it, an all-out effort there on that play and trying to keep the Larks in this one. That they're still well within reach, and we said it in the pregame. No lead is safe against this Larks team.
The bases are empty with 2 outs. That brings up Cole Manuel, who gets hit and goes to first base. The BJs now bring up Noah Giovanelli, the first baseman out of Point Loma Nazarene. If I'm not mistaken, Point Loma Nazarene is at the Division II level. The BJs have multiple players from that school, a team that won the Pac West Championship this season. Frederick's first pitch to Giovanelli is called ball 1. This is the second inning for the BJs where they've scored 2 runs. They scored 2 in the second off of just 1 hit. And they still have yet to record a hit in this inning. It is now 2-0 to Giovanelli, who is followed by Cal Anthony and Cade Adams. Tanner Norman's covering first. Manuel has a short lead. The pitch. A ground ball over to Rainer Bean. He fields it and gives it over to his college teammate Tanner Norman and gets out number 3. But Liberal gets 2 more runs from Jet Huffman and Ben Finnegan, and the score is 4-0. The Larks will now face a new pitcher after 6 innings. Anthony Edwards replaces Jay Brooks Kappelman, and the first pitch goes wild. That is ball 1 to Braden Hebner.
It's not to be confused with the number 5 Anthony Edwards, who plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. We're playing baseball for anyone that wasn't aware of that, folks.
Edwards is a sophomore from Brookhaven, Dallas. Deals a strike to Braden Hebner on the high outside corner. It is 1-1. And Jay Brooks Kappelman in his 7th start had a huge outing. 6 innings, just like the Lark starter, Simon Lunsford. They both give up just 1 hit. The only difference is Kappelman gives up no runs and also records 5 strikeouts. On a 1-1, Hebner takes a big swing and falls behind with 2 strikes.
We were just chatting about that during the break. The Larks have only given up 1 hit. Same with the BJs, but the score is so vastly different, and it's really product of those errors that the Larks have committed this evening. 3 errors tonight for the Larks.
Edwards goes to his full windup, and it's a strikeout. It's a drop third strike, but the throw goes down to first in time. That brings up Brand Wilson, the DH. Played catcher last night where he was 1 for 4 with a base hit. And the pitch to Wilson is high and inside. It is 1-0. Wilson is on a 4-game hit streak, trying to keep it alive tonight. Started the season on a 6-game streak, so he's hit in all but 1 of his 11 games. Trying to make it all but 1 of his 12 tonight. Count moves to 2-0 for Wilson. The catcher wants another one low. That is left outside. It's now 3-0. The Larks just need 1 base runner on to try and shift the momentum. Along with that 1 hit, they've only gotten guys on who were hit and walked. They've left a total of 5 runners stranded. There is strike 1 on a 3-0 count to Brand Wilson against Anthony Edwards.
Well, no reason to swing at that pitch there if you're Brand Wilson. This is a spot where you should be keyholing those pitches. Only take the ones that are cookies right up the middle.
And Wilson's going to head down to first base, leaving that one inside. He is on with 1 out, and that brings up Tanner Norman.
This is where the Larks could really do some damage, try to swing the momentum in their favor. They've got a runner on first, only 1 out on the scoreboard, so you've got a little wiggle room as well. I'd be interested to see if they decide to be a little bit aggressive here on the base path, see if they can't get a guy in running a runner in scoring position.
Norman's put the ball in play once. He's reached on a walk as well. He's walked in 13 of his last 14 games. That one almost got away from the catcher. That is going to make the count 1 ball and no strikes to Norman. The Larks might have to start being aggressive on the base path, but Wilson has not attempted a steal yet, primarily because he's been played as a catcher, so he gets subbed out as soon as he gets on the base path. The 1-0 is right down the middle for strike 1.
Wilson's also one of those guys that's more of a power hitter than he is a base hit, and then speed through those bases. So it's the times that you see him on first base, it's usually only product of a walk or maybe a hit by pitch.
Edwards looks at first base. And he finds the strike zone again. It is now 1-2.
This is where you wonder if it'd be beneficial to put in a pinch runner in a situation like this, especially tonight where you have a game where nobody's really able to hit the baseball from both sides of the field. So just to try and at least manufacture something, get that goose egg off the scoreboard.
Edwards kicks and deals. That one misses way outside, and it evens the count up. Looking at Anthony Edwards in his sophomore season at Brookhaven, Dallas, he pitched in 8 games and made 1 start. He had 8 strikeouts but gave up 14 hits and pitched in 3 games as a freshman. He takes another look at first base and now focuses on Tanner Norman. And there's ball 3. It's going to be a full count. And Anthony Edwards, he already has a little bit of summer baseball experience. This is his first year with Liberal, but last summer he was down in Texas playing for the NTX Renegades. Here's the payoff pitch, and Norman strikes out swinging. Now Holtorf comes up to bat as the 9-hole batter with 2 outs and a runner at first base.
Oh, these are really important games for the BJs, especially these league contests. If they want to have any chance of having that RMBL title in their horizon, in those sights, especially with as good as the Larks record is, they've got to try and award them as many losses as they possibly can whenever they're playing against them.
Holtorf gets hit on the first pitch from Edwards. And also Liberal comes into tonight's game 2.5 games out of first place. So a win tonight drops that to 1.5. And I believe they get 3 days off after tonight. So they'll have time to refresh before returning to league play. And then they'll face the Larks again on the 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Well, I also overheard Brock Kappelman over there in the booth next to us that it sounds like the BJs have to face the A's after this series. And that's not a tough team, certainly not gimme games by any means. And the A's, a team that's also in contention for that title. They're a team who's really been impressive to watch this season. Awarded the Larks their first loss of the season. So they're a team that is also a threat for sure in this RMBL.
So Liberal will get 3 days off after tonight. On Saturday, they will face Dodge City in a league game, and then they will face the Larks again, and it'll be just like this series. First game is non-league. Last 2 affect the RMBL record. And then they have just 2 more RMBL games after that against Dodge City. And it'll be the same thing again. Non-league, league, league. And their last game is on July 20th. They will face the Liberal Rattlers, an 18U team in Liberal.
Well, they have a very tough couple weeks ahead of them with the Larks and the A's on their schedule. But then on the positive note for the BJs in that sense, they can make up a lot of ground in the title race for the RMBL.
It is Rainer Bean up to bat with a 1-0 count. Short lead for both runners. It's Brand Wilson at second, Cooper Holtorf at first. The Larks still only have 1 hit tonight that came in the 3rd inning. And now Rainer Bean gets ahead with 2 balls.
Well, I must say the Larks faithful have really showed up pretty well these few home games we've had at home, all things considered. Even with it being in the middle of the week, even with it being as hot as it is, they have really showed up well.
Bean leaves that one downstairs. He's ahead with 3 balls. If he gets on the base path, it brings up Tabor Stokes, who hit his first home run of the season last night. And a grand slam would tie this game up.
That would be a big spot for Bean for Stokes.
Here's the 3-0. And that's right down Broadway for the first strike.
Another situation here for Bean where you just have to keyhole these pitches. Unless it is a gimme right up the middle of the plate, that is a pitch you can't pass up. You just got to let those go by in a situation like this. You have to be a team player. You're just trying to get on base.
And Bean skies this one into the air on the right field side. It's in foul territory, and it goes out of play.
That was a tough pitch to lay off of. It was high and inside on the hands of him, and makes it really hard to turn on a pitch like that because a lot of people will call those broken bat pitches because a lot of times you'll see those broken bats generated from that on those pitches that are in on the hands. And for Bean's perspective, he was just trying to protect the plate and avoid giving an easy strike to Edwards on the hill.
Anthony Edwards gives a nod to his catcher. Deals the payoff pitch with 2 outs. And that one's going to get away from Rainer Bean. And the Larks will hold up both runners that advance. And the bases are loaded with 2 outs.
Well, even despite the fact that Brand Wilson and Cooper Holtorf didn't even need to run on a pass ball there because of the fact that it was ball 4, props to them for having that heads-up base running, noticing that ball was going to get past. They were gone before that ball had even gotten past home plate because they saw out of the hands of Edwards that ball was going to get past the catcher. Great heads-up base running from them.
Happy Trails is playing in Larks Park, so you know what that means. It's a new pitcher for the visiting team. We'll see who Liberal's new pitcher is when we come back here on the Larks Network. Both teams do the same thing in the 7th inning. They bring in a new pitcher and make another change in the middle of that inning. Anthony Edwards gets the first 2 outs. Liberal makes a change to get the last one. They bring in number 18, Sean Size, a freshman right-hander who is a redshirt in his hometown this season at El Paso Community College. And his first pitch to Tabor Stokes goes inside for ball 1.
Well, this is a guy you want up to the plate in a situation like this. Tabor Stokes is a veteran on this Hayes Larks team. He's been in spots like this before, been in big moments. He is not one to shy away from pressure. He is the guy you want at the plate right now.
Here's the pitch. Finds the strike zone, and it evens the count up. Every guy on the base path right now for the Larks either walked or was hit by a pitch. Brandon Wilson is at third, Cooper Holsworth is at second, and Rainer Bean is at first. Larks looking for their first runs. They've left 5 stranded up to this point. And Stokes leads that one on the high outside corner for a tied count.
Something to take note here, the infield is playing a little bit in here on this situation because if Stokes hits a base hit out into the outfield, they want to have an opportunity to make a throw back into the infield to try and avoid any extra runs coming in.
Here comes the 2-1 from Size. And he misses down low. And the Larks are a ball or a hit away from getting their first run. Size kicks and deals. And Stokes hits a line drive into left field, and it lands in the bullpen.
If Stokes would have sat back on that pitch for even a millisecond longer, that ball would have been a no-doubter out to left field. He hit that ball perfectly on the barrel of his bat. That thing was a laser out into the bullpen over there off the third base side.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Tabor Stokes with 2 outs.
I'm sure Size, seeing that pitch that Stokes was able to get a hold of, he's probably a little bit nervous here on this pitch.
Here's the pitch. And this one's sent into center field, and this is a deep hit. Finnegan goes back for it, and he reaches up and makes the catch. It was a long run for the center fielder, but the bases are left loaded, and the Larks still have no runs through 7. Top of the 8th is up next. Liberal will have their 5, 6, 7 batters up next. Trailing by 4 in the top of the 8th inning, the Larks make their third call to the bullpen of the night. Replacing Sammy Fredrich is number 23, Jackson Ramos. He has made more appearances than any other pitcher for the Larks. This is his 11th game. He's had 10 games with 13 and 1/3 innings. He's primarily been played as a closer for the Larks because of the amount of appearances that he's had for just 1 inning. But I'd have to imagine he'll pitch the 8th and the 9th as the Larks try to complete a comeback and win this 3-game series against Liberal. This is Liberal's second 3-game series of the season. They just played one against Dodge City, and the first pitch is fouled back by Cal Anthony. The count is 0-1. Neither team won that 3-game series between Liberal and Dodge City. It started with a Dodge City win, then a tie, and then a Liberal win. Ramos is set to deliver the 0-1. Here's the pitch. Low and inside. That is ball 1.
Ramos is a guy that has a lot of velocity behind his pitches. He really gets a lot of strength that he's able to generate off of that rubber off the hill. Just watch his pitching motion, how fluid it is.
Ramos goes to a fast windup and goes upstairs on the pitch. 2 balls and 1 strike to Cal Anthony, the right fielder. Scored the second run of the game. And has been on the base path twice. 1 walk and 1 time from being hit by a pitch. Now he falls behind with a 2-2 count. With Cal Anthony scoring, this is the 9th game in a row where he scored at least 1 run. Two balls and 2 strikes, and it's now a full count on another missed pitch there for Jackson Ramos. LaRue wants the pitch low. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's a line drive into left field. A long run for Braden Hebner, but he's able to get there in time and record out number 1 of the 8th inning.
That was an important out there for the Larks. They really can't afford to give up any more runs here in this contest with only a couple innings left to try and tack on 4 runs to keep themselves in this one.
And that was good contact as well by Cal Anthony. You saw him sprinting to second base just in case that one got past Braden Hebner. But
that one, I mean, it even had the chance to go the distance, I thought, potentially, had it sliced a little bit more left than it did. But that sent Hebner almost all the way to the warning track to make that catch. That was a good knock there from Cal Anthony, just didn't fall in his favor.
Cade Adams will fall behind 0-1 against Ramos. Adams has struck out twice tonight and grounded out to the first baseman Tanner Norman, so he is 0 for 3. And every strikeout in this game has been recorded by the Larks starter Simon Lunsford. He finished with 12 of the strikeouts. And now Ramos has a 1-1 count against the designated hitter. One ball and 1 strike. And that one misses a little bit too low. It got away from LaRue. The count is tied up. Now LaRue centers his glove again. And this one's sent up the middle, but Tabor Stokes is there to make the catch. That's 2 flyouts by Liberal in this inning.
That pitch looked like, or that hit, I guess, rather, looked like it had a little bit more run on it than it did, but it just kind of floated out in the air. I thought it would have had a chance to kind of bloop over the head of the shortstop Stokes, but that thing just stayed in the infield. I thought for sure that thing was into the outfield grass, and Keenan was going to have to be the one to come drag it down.
Now Liberal goes to their seven-hole batter, Drew Gartman, to try and avoid a 3-up, 3-down inning. That has happened 3 times tonight. And it's a ball 1 pitch there to Gartman. In the first inning, Liberal had 3 straight strikeouts on their batters. 2 more were added in the 4th inning, along with a pop fly. And then in the 5th inning, the first 2 balls went in play, and Simon Lunsford added another strikeout. One ball and one strike with 2 outs to Drew Gartman, the freshman from Jonesboro, Arkansas, playing at his traditional position tonight, shortstop, a former top 5 player in that position in his home state of Arkansas, according to Perfect Game. Now the count is tied up. Ramos has 19 strikeouts coming into tonight's game. He goes to the curveball and finds the zone again. He just needs one more strike to end the inning and become just the second Larks pitcher to record a strikeout along with Lunsford. Ramos is the 4th pitcher into the game after Max Hendricks and Sammy Frederich. Here's the 2-2, and it drops into the outside corner, and there is out number 3. The Larks are still in search of their first run. They're going to try to get it in the bottom half of this inning as they try to complete the comeback. We'll be back in just a moment to Larks Park. It's time for the bottom of the 8th inning. Larks still going in search of that first run, but if they are going to do it, now's a good time to do it. Hutch Russell's up to bat, followed by Dylan LaRue and Sean Keenan, some of their best hitters. Russell was 3 for 4 last night. Dylan LaRue had an RBI double in last night's game as well, and then Sean Keenan has shown at times this season that he can hit the ball deep.
Well, they really have the heart of their lineup up right now. This is the part of their lineup they want to have up. But if they're going to score some runs, this is the time to do it. They're going to have a little bit of a tougher time in the bottom of the 9th when that time comes around to get some hits if they can't produce some offense here in the bottom of the 8th.
0-1 is the count to Russell against number 18, Sean Size. Just like the Larks, Liberal made a change in the 7th inning, and then they would make another change in the 7th as well. Anthony Edwards got the first 2 outs, and then Sean Size came in and kept the bases loaded. He is ahead with an 0-2 count.
The BJs have used 3 pitchers. The Larks now up to 4. This has really been a pitching duel through and through, but mostly brought to you by the starters this evening.
That one takes a bounce to the left of the plate for the first ball. It is 1-2.
Both sides have only given up 1 hit in this contest, but the real difference maker we mentioned earlier has been the errors. The Larks have given up 3 errors, which has resulted in a lot of those runs that have come in this evening.
Here's the 1-2 from Size, and the curveball's just a little bit too high. It evens the count up.
That was close. It was a risky pitch to take there if you're Hutch Russell, especially at this spot of the contest. He's got to be careful and protect the plate and with 2 strikes here.
Here's Size's next pitch. And that's a swing and a miss for the first out. So another strikeout for the BJs. Now the Larks bring up their 8th Street Liquor Beverage batter, Dylan LaRue. He's reached the base path twice, was hit and then walked in the 4th and 6th inning. Did not advance any further past first. So far tonight, the only hit for the Larks has came from Rainer Bean, the leadoff batter, on a double in the 3rd inning. Size goes to the outside against LaRue, and there's ball 1. Size has had 5 games before tonight, has only given up runs in 2 games, and that included a 5 strikeout, and he also has a 5 strikeout performance in his first game, which was all on June 20th against the Colorado Lumberjacks. So he was kind of a late arrival for Liberal. But half of his strikeouts have came in that game alone. He just recorded his first strikeout of the night, now deals with a 2-1 count against Dylan LaRue, the Larks' 4-hole batter. Manuel puts his glove low, and LaRue hits a hard hit ball to the second baseman, but it's fielded by Huffman. And another throw goes to first base, and there's out number 2.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time there for Huffman. LaRue hit that ball straight to him. I mean, literally right to him. It just seems like Huffman just knows where to be before the ball's even hit. He seems like he's gotten a lot of action over at second base in this series, and man, he has really risen to the occasion. It's been almost perfection over there on second base.
Sean Keenan will now try to keep the inning alive. He has put the ball in play 3 times tonight, looking for that first hit. Here's the pitch from Size, and this one bounces away from the catcher, Cole Manuel, and the count is 1-0. A lot is at stake when we go into the 9th inning. A win for Liberal puts them 1.5 games out of first place. And for the Larks, they are trying to avoid back-to-back losses, something that hasn't happened in 4 years. 2022 was the last time that the Larks lost 2 games in a row, and that was, I believe, in late June of that season.
The Larks looking to try to go back-to-back for league titles this year as well. They won it last season, the RMBL champs, and now looking to defend that title here this year.
Count moves to 1-1 for Keenan. And it's not just back-to-back titles. This year the Larks are trying to go for 4 in a row in the RMBL. They joined the league in 2020. The only year that they didn't win the title was 2022. It's a tied count now for Sean Keenan against Sean Size. Size was a redshirt this year at El Paso Community College. And El Paso is also his hometown. On the 2-1, this one's fouled out of play. And Keenan is down to his last strike with 2 outs. Keenan taking his time before going back into the left-handed box. Here comes the 2-2. And a fly ball goes into shallow right field. But the second baseman, Huffman, is there in time. He falls down as he makes the catch. And that's another 3-up, 3-down inning for the BJs. And we go to the top of the 9th. The score is 4-0 in the 3rd and final game of this series. We are down to the final 6 outs of tonight's game for the top of the 9th inning. It is the 8-9-1 batters for the BJs. And it's a line drive here by Jet Huffman, and it's going to drop down. That is just the 3rd hit of the game for either team, 2nd for the BJs. And Jet Huffman is at first base.
That is the 3rd hit in this entire game. I mean, this game is reminding me almost a little bit of the AL Central. For those that watch the MLB, a lot of those games end up just being pitching duels from start to finish, and this one just feels that way too, where teams are scoring runs in the most unorthodox ways possible, but they're still getting runs somehow.
Liberal brings up Josiah Rojas, completing the 4th time through their order. And Jackson Ramos threw back to first base, but Huffman slides back in time. LaRue's glove is centered at the plate. Here's the pitch from Ramos, and it's a changeup that misses up high. 2 balls and no strikes to the left fielder. Ramos has 1 strikeout so far. He just gave up his first hit. And this one's sent into center field. Keenan goes after it, and he's the one that makes the catch. Holtorf was there as well, and that's out number 1.
Maybe I just imagined that, but did the lights kind of flicker for you there for just a moment, Hank?
I thought I saw something.
Okay, all right. I think
was it the press box or was it out there?
I think it was out there. I think it was the overhead lights that might have flickered. I don't know, possibly a power surge or something. That was interesting. I've never seen that before. In all of my games that I've ever called at night, I've never ever seen stadium lights flicker like that. That was weird.
Well, we are using 3 outlets, so I don't think we're at fault for that. Liberals back to the top of their order with Ben Finnegan. He's ahead 1-0. He has Jet Huffman at first base, who singled on the first pitch of the inning, and another throw goes back there, and he's back in time. Ramos gets his pitch from the catcher, Dylan LaRue. Here's the 1-0, and it's a swing and a miss for strike 1.
Well, Ramos has got to play damage control here in the top of the 9th to keep the Larks in this contest. The Larks are down by 4 runs here. They've got their work cut out for them for the bottom of the 9th, but Ramos has got to hold it together here going into this bottom half of the 9th inning.
Finnegan has scored 1 of the 4 runs tonight. He's 0 for 3, and he drills this one into center field, but Keenan's at the right place at the right time, and he gets out number 2. So Sean Keenan is responsible for both outs this inning. The Larks need 1 more to avoid any insurance runs being put up. That brings up number 29, Trenton Uyeda. Jet Huffman's continuing to take a lead. Here's the first pitch to the 2-hole batter, Trenton Uyeda. That's a big swing, and he misses on it. The count is 0-1.
Ramos has looked pretty confident up there on the hill here in the top of the 9th inning. Seemed like he struggled a little bit to find his rhythm there in the top of the 8th, but he's really settled in here in the top of the 9th.
Ramos is ready, deals the 0-1, and that one's sent back over the grandstand. No balls and 2 strikes.
You know, I said that he struggled to find his rhythm, but now looking at my scorecard, he went 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. So I think it just felt like he was a little bit disconnected when it came to really dialing in his pitches. Right now it seems like he's got really good command of the plate.
Ramos kicks and deals. Drops that one to the outside, and that's the first ball.
That was not a bad pitch at all. That was a nice pitch there out of the hand of Ramos. Had a lot of break to it. Pretty good spin rate. I'd be curious to see what he goes to here on a 1-2 count if he tries to go for a fastball up in the zone.
Since coming in the 7th inning, Ramos has not given up a run. He's only given up 1 hit, and he gets another strikeout on a 1-2 count. He drops it into the low part of the zone, and that ends the inning. The Larks need 4 runs to tie, 5 to win it. We will see if they can do it when we come back. The Larks need 4 runs to keep the game alive, and they will have their 6, 7, 8 batters up. That's Braden Hebner, Brand Wilson, and Tanner Norman, and they'll be facing a new pitcher replacing Sean Size after 1 1/3 innings is number 22, Skylar Rayleigh, the freshman from Northlake College. And the right-hander deals the first pitch. He goes inside, and it's ball 1.
You wonder how a freshman handles the pressure here in a save situation like that. I guess it's not a save situation right at the moment with a four-run lead, but still a close game with a team that he knows can hit the ball really well. You wonder how he's handling that pressure here.
Rayleigh goes to his fastball and falls behind 2-0. He has played in 6 games for the BJs, has given up 9 hits, 6 runs, and has also recorded 9 strikeouts. He played in 18 games, which included 2 starts in his freshman season at Northlake. Here's the 2-0, and that one misses outside for ball 3. We'll see where the catcher puts his glove. Here's the pitch. That one drops too low. It's a 4-pitch walk for Braden Hebner.
Now, this is not the first time we've seen a pitcher commit a walk on his first at bat here in this game. I'm curious to know now what the approach will be for the BJs. I don't see anybody warming up in the pen right at the moment, so I would assume, at least at this point, that they're going to ride this one out with Rayleigh on the mound. But you got to wonder how many walks are they going to let him give out before they decide to pull the plug.
First pitch to Brand Wilson is high and inside. Here's the next pitch from Rayleigh, and he delivers his first strike of the inning. The count moves to 1-1 for Brand Wilson.
Well, I'm sure that felt good for Rayleigh. 5 straight balls for him to start the inning. He's really got to dial it in now.
And Wilson puts this one in play, but it's chopped foul right past the Larks' third base coach, Ben Tinius.
Wasn't quite able to replicate the Liberals' third base coach that had a pretty fancy play over there on third base. Was able to kind of barehand a ball last time out, but Tinius, I think, is a little bit more locked in on the game here right at the moment, just based on the stakes at hand here.
Here's the 1-2, and Wilson hits that foul. Wilson is followed by Tanner Norman and Cooper Holtorf. Norman had a plus 600 slugging percentage at Murray State, and Cooper Holtorf has hit in all but 2 games for the Larks this season. So those are some reliable guys at this part of the lineup. And it's the shortstop that fields it. It's a long throw to first base, and the throw was not in time. That was a very close call, and that easily could have gone either way.
I was not right next to the bag, so I don't have the right view to make that call. But initially up here, it looked to me like that was an out over at first base. It looked like, I mean, just barely by the tip of his shoe, he was out. Now, granted, they'll still have a runner at second either way, but there's nothing they can do to overturn this, obviously. But
well, they're going to have a discussion with the home plate umpire, so this very easily could be overturned. We just got to see what the final call is.
I suppose what I meant is there's nothing they can look at right now to say that they can overturn it. There's no replay or anything, so it's going to be up to the discretion of what the home plate umpire saw, and I'm sure he didn't have nearly as good of an angle as the guy over on first. So that's a tough break there for the BJs. But as for the Larks' perspective, they've got runners on first and second. Now they're just 2 batters from, or I guess 1 batter away after this batter here from having that go-ahead run, or I guess the tying run at the plate.
Now batting for the Larks is number 34, Tanner Norman. He's put 1 ball in play tonight. It was a deep fly out into center field. And the first pitch from Skylar Rayleigh is right down Broadway. No balls in, 1 strike.
Something to note here, that hit there from Brand Wilson is now just the 2nd hit of the night for the Larks and the 4th total hit here in this contest.
Rayleigh looks back at second base. Standing there is Braden Hebner. He has a big lead, and here's the pitch. Low and inside, and the count is even.
Still not seeing anybody warming up in the BJ's bullpen. Now with 2 runners on and nobody out, I'm a little bit surprised to not see any motion or movement, I guess I should say, in their bullpen.
At the same time, I don't think there's really any need to because you got the 4-run cushion, and your pitchers have done a really good job tonight. Count is 1-2 now to Norman, fouling that last pitch back into the net.
The only thing that you got to be a little bit gun-shy about is this Larks team. They can really pull games from nothing. They can turn nothing into something, and we've seen it multiple times this season, and this could be another situation where they could do something of that nature, especially with nobody out.
Here's the 1-2. That takes a bounce on home plate, and it's now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Norman. This season, Norman has recorded 11 RBIs and 15 hits coming into tonight's game. And on the 2-2, he swings and misses, and there's out number 1.
That was a big strikeout there for the BJs, getting a swing and a miss there on a pitch that quick through the zone. Tanner Norman goes down swinging, and now the BJs are 2 outs away from closing this one out against the number 1 team in the RMBL.
Now up for the Larks is Cooper Holtorf. Just like Tanner Norman, he's also had 1 ball go in play tonight. It was a fly out into the outfield. 1 ball and no strike is the count. Right side of the infield playing a little bit further back for the BJs. It would be big for the Larks if they can get Cooper Holtorf on, because the top of the order is up next. Rainer Bean, the Larks home run leader. Tabor Stokes, who has a home run in this series. And then Hutch Russell, who has hit in every game except tonight. Another even count for the Larks, this time with one out. Here's the next pitch from Skylar Rayleigh. Holtorf thought about taking a swing at it, but it just missed the zone, and the count is tied up.
To your point, getting it out here is crucial for the BJs, with the top of the order looming large in the horizon for the Larks.
And Holtorf rips this one deep into left field. It's a long run back for Rojas, and it's gone. We got a one-run game in Hayes America. The second home run of the season for Cooper Holtorf comes at a much-needed time, and the Larks are back to the top of their order in a one-run ball game.
What did I tell you? Never count out this Larks team. Never count them out. It's a one-run contest right now, and Cooper Holtorf stepped up when they needed him most. A one-run game for this Larks team is certainly much more comfortable than that four-run position they were in just a moment ago. And I've seen this Larks team manufacture runs throughout this season, and I would not be surprised if they get really aggressive on the base paths if they can get a runner on.
First pitch to Rainer Bean is a strike. And now he works with an even count. With a big shout from the Larks fans as that one was called a ball. Apologize to the fans, I forgot to switch from the celebration cam to the main cam. Tied up at 2-1. Rainer Bean will be the tying run if he can get on.
Just wonder the emotions that Rayleigh is feeling here in this situation on the hill.
Another one misses on the outside. Rainer Bean is one ball away from being walked, and we're now going to get a meeting for the BJs. They haven't had anybody warming up this inning, but their pitching coach sprints out there. I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe switch some infielders around, which that is something the Larks did last night because Cade Green was the last pitcher, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the BJs give it a try.
And a lot of times you'll see that in leagues like this where they're those collegiate circuits, but I'm just so surprised there's nobody warming up in the bullpen. The BJs have a lot of rest coming up here. They've got a couple rest days, and I don't see why you don't try and warm up an arm in the pen here in a situation that's as close as it is here. There's a lot on the line with this game, and if they let up one more run, this is a totally different landscape here for this Larks team.
And there is a walk on a 3-1 count for Rainer Bean. That's the tying run. Up to bat is number 6, Tabor Stokes. Like I've said, he has a home run in this series. It was last night in the 7th inning. And in Tabor Stokes' career with the Larks, his home run count is 7. Here's the pitch. Stokes has to duck down, and the count is 1-0.
I don't know. If I was over there in the dugout of the BJs, I'd be sweating bullets right now, especially with the part of the lineup that's up right now for the Larks.
Here's the next pitch from Skylar Rayleigh. He goes to the outside corner and finds the strike zone. It is now 1-1. Short lead over at first for Rainer Bean. And Stokes hits a high fly ball. And this is going to go into the outfield. It's called for by the center fielder. And making the catch is Finnegan. The Larks are down to their last out. Here is Hutch Russell.
Well, folks, if you came for the dramatics, you've got them. This one is going to come down to the wire. intrigued to see if they go ahead and try to send Rainer Bean over to second base here to get him in scoring position so they can at least get him around the base paths if Hutch Russell can get a single here.
I am really surprised that the Larks have not even attempted a steal yet in this series. Liberals only caught 9 runners this season. And that one drops down low, and there's ball 1 to Hutch Russell.
Well, Bean is taking a pretty good-sized secondary lead over there on first base. I'm, again, just really surprised they haven't sent him yet. Bean's really got some wheels. Being that leadoff batter that he is, he's really kind of known for his speed.
The catcher wants the ball centered and low. That is called ball 2. Another short lead for Rainer Bean. Here's the 2-0. Missing on the outside. It's a 3-0 count for the third baseman and KU commit Hutch Russell.
Russell's had really good plate discipline tonight. Even though he's only been able to generate 1 walk here in this contest, he's really extended his at-bats, it seems like, against all the pitchers from the BJs.
There's the first strike from Skylar Rayleigh. He's been trying to find the corner in a lot of these at-bats, and he does so there. He has given up two hits in this inning. Now he deals the 3-1. That one is low and inside, and another Lark is going to walk.
That go-ahead run now on first base. This is a scary part of the order to be facing here. You got Dylan LaRue up to the plate, who's been walked twice tonight. And this is a guy that is really known for being pretty clutch in situations like this. For the Larks, this is a great situation. You've got the guy that you want up to the plate. You don't want anybody else up to the plate in a situation like this. Now, I'm really intrigued to see what's going to go on here on the mound as now a coach from the BJs has walked out to talk to the home plate umpire. I think we're going to see some movement in the infield.
Yes, Seth Green is on the edge of the dugout. So one of the infielders is going to pitch to get the last out. Caden Trankel is talking to the home plate umpire. Now he goes out to the mound. So Seth Green is going to go into the outfield. Rojas is coming in from left field. If I had to guess, I'd say the new pitcher is Noah Giovanelli, the first baseman, because Rojas replaced him at first base last night. But we will step away. They'll give him some practice pitches. We will be back in a moment at Larks Park. Instead of going to the bullpen, Liberal makes a change with some of their fielders. Replacing Josiah Rojas in left field is Seth Green, and Rojas is the new pitcher. He's going to go for the save. He's a senior left-hander, or high school senior left-hander from the Colony, Texas. Tonight at the plate, he was 0 for 3 with a walk and an RBI. And now they'll turn to him for the last out. He has pitched in 8 2/3 innings, 15 strikeouts, and 7 hits for him.
Well, when a southpaw comes to the hill like this, Dylan LaRue really is the ideal player to have up to the plate. With him being a switch hitter, he's not going to be at a disadvantage because he's able to just flop over to that right-hand side of the plate. He was able to get himself some practice swings in, get adjusted, and now he's right back over to that other side of the plate. It's a good thing he was able to, kind of recognize that before coming in so he could kind of get used to that motion.
The tying run, Rainer Bean, is at second. The go-ahead run, Hutch Russell, is at first. Here's the first pitch from Josiah Rojas. It's high and outside. That's ball one. LaRue is the 8th batter to appear at the plate in this inning. Now Rojas comes set, looks back at second base. And here is the pitch, and that's high and outside. That's 2 balls in the count now for the senior out of Cumberland.
Rojas has really good velocity, but you wonder what his command's going to look like for the remainder of this contest. With as close as it is, this is a very high-pressure situation for a pitcher like this.
Rojas kicks and deals. That's a swing and a miss, and it was a big one. That's the first strike to Dylan LaRue. 2 home runs, 15 RBIs, 15 hits this season for Dylan LaRue. 54 RBIs for him in his Larks career. The pitch to untie the count is going to go right down the middle. Larks are down to their last strike with 2 outs. Larks fans cheer on Dylan LaRue, facing the left-handed Josiah Rojas. Here's the pitch. That one is up high. This pitch will determine if the game goes on or if it ends right here.
That was a very risky pitch to take there from LaRue. Wow, what a keen eye on that one to leave that one upstairs.
The payoff pitch from Rojas goes to the plate, and it's popped up, and it goes out of play.
LaRue is really good at defending the plate, and you see it right there. 3-2 count, knows he has to defend. Anything close is going to get a bat to it, and LaRue's able to connect with it, pop it up in the air, and keep himself alive, give himself another opportunity here.
You can just feel the energy in the air. A rivalry game with huge RMBL title implications. Rojas pitches the 3-2. And he gets a strikeout, and that ends the game. The Larks hit a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 9th inning, but fall 1 run short against the BJs. And Liberal wins the series and gives the Larks back-to-back losses for the first time in 4 years. And we will step away for a moment and have the post-game show for you when we come back here on the Larks Network. Liberal had a 4-0 lead going into the bottom of the 9th inning. The Larks hit a 3-run home run from Cooper Holtorf, but they fall 1 run short tonight in the series finale. Welcome into the postgame show, everybody. My name is Hank Corsair, joined alongside by Eli Blankenship. And one of the things we highlighted in the pregame show was the pitching matchup, and it did not disappoint. Simon Lunsford got a big start, but Liberal, Jay Brooks Kappelman, he pitched the first 6 innings, only gives up 1 hit, Then Liberal has 4 pitchers come in after that, and they're able to hold off the Larks tonight.
Yeah, and I think it really came down to the errors. I mean, that's really, you look back in this whole game, you look at the box score, and it really does. Sometimes the box score doesn't tell the whole story, but it does here in this one. The errors is really what came back to bite the Larks in the end of this one. And it's unfortunate that that's the way that it happened, but that's something that the Larks have to look back on and say, okay, this is what we need to clean up going forward into the later parts of this season.
And now looking ahead for the Larks on Friday, they will be playing here again against the Fort Collins Foxes, a team that they beat in a 2-game series on their home field. And that's a team that can score a lot of runs, but they have a tendency to give up a lot of runs as well. So the Larks can definitely learn a lot from tonight's game. And also with how they got the start that they had to this season, they have such a big cushion that they're still ahead in the RMBL standings despite losing this series. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from here, especially because next week they will see Liberal again.
Yeah, and I think that this series has given the Larks a better idea of what to expect later in this season when they go and face the BJs again and even potentially meet them in the NBC World Series. So I think this is going to be a good learning experience for this team, and I think this will really give them a lot of motivation going into the last half of the last part, I guess, of this season when there's RMBL playoff, or I guess RMBL title implications in the balance. I think this next series, the Larks really have to just focus on, locking it down, getting through this next series. It's going to be a lot of fireworks, post 4th of July fireworks in that series, and I think that'll be a good morale boost for them. And then after that, they really have to put the nose to the grindstone against the BJs on the road.
The Larks are now 20-4 and 14-4 in RMBL play. Liberal improves to 16-8-1, and their new RMBL record is 13-6. The Larks will be off tomorrow, and then on Friday they will start a 2-game series with the Fort Collins Foxes. After that, they get Sunday off, and then they face a 3-game series, and then they'll have a 3-game series against Liberal that runs from Monday to Wednesday, and it'll be just like this one, non-league, and then 2 league games after that. So it'll be interesting to see where the Larks go from here, but that's going to wrap up our coverage of tonight's game as Liberal wins it 4-3. We thank you all for tuning in. My name is Hank Corsair, joined alongside by Eli Blankenship, and we hope you all have a great rest of your night.